Alright, so we back with another video, man. Today, we giving y'all an NBA reaction. We're gonna start it. Now, I'm gonna do a little series going over some of my favorite players, looking at some videos, talking about my favorite players. We're gonna start it out with D-Wade. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why, but D-Wade be getting put in so many combos when you think about a guard just going off or whatever. Now, they do it with Kobe. So I ain't gonna act like he the only one. But like when it's like a guard that's not, you can't instantly notice it's all time, I don't know. I feel like they be throwing D-Wade in there. Now, I would argue D-Wade, compared to a lot of y'all favorite players, some of the players y'all think are the best all time, D-Wade got a lot more influence on the league than some of y'all favorite players. That's all I'm gonna say. But today we're gonna be starting out with my favorite player, D-Wade. Now all the stuff that he did in his career, after his career, you know what I'm saying? We just talking about basketball today. So we're gonna react to D-Wade. We'll see if he really do him, you know what I'm saying, justice. The title of the video is, I think we're starting to forget about D-Wade. Not me, but I want to see what he talking about. So let's get into it. I'm guessing he gonna be talking about all these people throwing him in conversations, to be real, the disrespect. I seen somebody say a couple years back, Amen Thompson was more athletic than D-Wade. I ain't gonna lie, Amen Thompson a freak athlete. But I seen the other night, Luka try to guard Amen Thompson, and he was stonewalling Amen Thompson. And I was seeing people say he a better slasher than D-Wade. That's diabolical. So I'm seeing a lot of crazy convos about D-Wade. So I'm actually interested to see what he gonna talk about. Y'all want more of these reactions? Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's hop into it. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, I ain't gonna lie. A couple years back, I reacted to a D-Wade video. And I was talking about how D-Wade the biggest what if. And I honestly believe that D-Wade is an insane what if. Honestly. Like, people see guys like D-Wade, and they just kind of like see how good he was in his career and don't realize his career before he even got into the league was trolled by injuries. Then after he won a championship, it was trolled by injuries. Then he reached another peak, it got trolled by injuries. Like, D-Wade career would have been way crazier. Like, you think of the guys nowadays, like the Embiids, the Kawhis. D-Wade was literally in convos with prime LeBron, peak Kobe as the best players in the league. And mind you, this was a D-Wade that was riddled with injuries at this time, and at the same time winning games with not the greatest teams. So I think people kind of forget about D-Wade in terms of how good he was at his athletic prime and how good he was at his NBA peak. So I do think it is the conversations. When you see some people put him in conversations with certain people, I don't have him in those convos, but let's see what he's talking about. Let's see if we do him justice.
Dwyane Wade was never supposed to be forgotten. One of the greatest guards in NBA history, yet somehow he's the one people overlook. It was all about Shaq, then LeBron, and hey, what was Kobe up to? D-Wade found himself in the shadows. Even at his peak, he won a championship, built Miami into a powerhouse, and then saw injuries take him out of the spotlight. And before he knew it, Wade County had become LeBron's team. But the thing is,
But I feel like I think he's finna say that. I feel like the LeBron thing is actually one of the best things about D-Wade's character and how important winning was to him. Like, he's seen what happened in 2011, and I ain't gonna lie, I ain't know. It's been some stuff revealed recently where D-Wade say, after every game, he was on LeBron's ass. He was so confused why LeBron was playing like that. And it, like, bro, in real time, bro, that was crazy to witness as a Heat fan, bro. Because LeBron was genuinely terrible in that series, especially when you think about the context. Bro, the series prior, we went against the MVP, the team that we was really struggling with in the regular season in the Bulls and MVP D Rose. LeBron going out there snatching chains, guarding D Rose. He playing out of his mind. We get to the finals, bro, don't have no idea what to do. So that was, in real time, that was genuinely unbelievable. Unbelievable.
welcomed it. Dwyane was willing to sacrifice because winning mattered more. He took pay cuts, gave up power and superstardom.
And D-Wade was so good in that 2011 finals. He was the best player in the finals. People never talk about that.
All that loyalty
because they lost.
meant nothing. When he came to get the money he deserved, Miami pushed him out of his own house. The man who made the Heat relevant wasn't even appreciated by the team he had sacrificed.
Nah, he did him filthy.
And in a way, that was Wade's entire career. An all-time great who never got treated like one.
Well, before injuries, I'm like, MJ, I'm coming for you.
Another convo, bro. People don't remember, bro. Prior to 06, or really after that finals, bro, people was really saying this is the next MJ. And I don't think people realize, like, D-Wade, before that finals, the year prior, he had them in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons, by the way, in 2005. Go look up who won the ring in 2005. D-Wade was giving the Pistons all they could handle. And really, the only reason as a Heat fan I see that they won is because D-Wade ended up getting injured and he couldn't finish the series. If D-Wade don't get injured in that series, the Heat may win that season. And that season is when Shaq was still, like, you could argue that was still prime Shaq. Shaq in 2006 was nowhere near that same level. So, hey, that's all I'm going to say. We a minute in. Let me stop pausing.
Dwyane Wade's playstyle was constantly on full throttle. He played every game like his life was on the line.
Relentless.
Which was a reflection of his childhood. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, Wade was surrounded by drugs, gang culture, and poverty. His mother was a victim of that life. She battled substance abuse and was in and out of jail, leaving Dwyane on his own to figure out how to live in this violent world. But in 1990, he got his lifeline. At 8 years old, Wade's father stepped in, took custody, and moved him into his place in a different part of town, changing the trajectory of his life. In the early 90s, his father introduced him to basketball, and as a Chicago native during this time, Michael Jordan was everything. He was the hero Dwyane wanted to model his game after, and he did a damn good job.
I never even thought about that with D-Wade, that he grew up in Chicago in literally the 90s. I never even thought about that. I actually never thought about that.
By his senior year in high school, Wade was the best player in the state. However, colleges were hesitant to recruit him because of his bad grades. All of them except Marquette. They took a shot on the kid, and despite missing his freshman season due to academic ineligibility, Dwyane put in work off the court and earned the green light for his sophomore season. Right out the gates, D-Wade became one of the best players in the country.
Bro, this sophomore season is really why I became a D-Wade fan. I could not believe it. I could genuinely not believe it.
Playing the season,
the entire reason I'm a Heat fan is because of D-Wade.
So that offseason, he had his left meniscus removed, sacrificing long-term health for a quicker return to the court.
And he talks about this all the time, that this is low-key the biggest regret. Like, that's what I'm saying. Before he even stepped foot into the league, he was getting crazy injuries and making it worse than it really should have been. He talked about this injury right here and what he did in the surgery. He tell every player he can to not do that. He talk about it all the time.
A decision that seemed right for now. In 2003, Wade shook the nation, leading Marquette to the Final Four, which skyrocketed his draft stock into the top 10. Yeah, D-Wade was still over.
He was supposed to go to Chicago? I don't even know who the hell this is. And by the way, the draft class that we in right now, that's coming in, they compare it to this draft class. I don't know if this draft class... Hey, this is a crazy draft class. Don't get me wrong. With LeBron, Melo, Bosh, D-Wade. They even got some low-key solid guys down there. When you think about Collinson, Kirk Heinrich, Michael Peters was a solid. Luke Rittenhouse was solid for a couple. TJ Ford, Chris Kaman. I don't know who the hell this is. This is one of the biggest busts ever. Darko Milicic.
Looked an afterthought.
That pick never would make sense to me because they need scoring and they didn't get Melo.
But whoever lands him is about to hit gold.
Melo would be so much different. He would be remembered so differently if he was on the Pistons.
NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Dwyane Wade from Marquette University.
Great pick, man. It's a great pick.
Drafted 5th overall, Dwyane Wade was off to Miami, a city where its bright lights and endless beaches.
I think people forget that D-Wade came into the league as a point guard too.
For a purpose. The Heat had fallen into mediocrity after a decade of early playoff exits. They were desperate for a savior who can electrify the city and lead them to glory. And that hero had fallen right into their lap. As a rookie, D-Wade took a team that won 25 games the previous season to the playoffs, where we saw flashes of superstardom. In his first postseason game with the clock winding down, he crosses over
and the crazy thing about D-Wade, he did that. He was not even in the MVP. The Rookie of the Year race. The Rookie of the Year race was a two-man race. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out LeBron. You definitely had the better career, but Melo should have won Rookie of the Year. I ain't gonna lie. That's one that I'll never get. That's one I'll never get for real. But, hey, shout out to Bron. Because, hey, we probably going to do a video for him. I ain't probably going to do a video for Melo. But Ricky, I ain't going to lie. Melo had that one.
Game winner with
but that was a crazy race.
Left. The Heat, however, would go on to lose in round 2. But that's all Miami had to see. This was the savior.
By the way, this is a rookie season. They're getting to round 2. This is before they had Shaq, by the way, I believe. I don't think they get Shaq to 05.
To lose in round 2. But that's all Miami.
Do y'all see the score? 70-73. That's crazy.
To see. This was the savior they've been looking for. In fact, they were so confident in the kid that they went all in.
The major headline around the league tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat have agreed to a trade that will send Shaquille.
They made it, bro. His rookie season, he got them to round 2, no Shaq. Coming off of winning 25 games. Imagine a rookie in today's NBA. Get drafted to a 25-win team. They don't really make no real big moves, and he take them to the second round. A rookie. That would be, bro, insane.
One of the greatest
That'd be insane. Like, even if, like, Cooper Flagg on that Mavericks team, if he would have did that, that would have been crazy. Like, that's one of the craziest feats. That's some micro shit. Genuinely.
Miami's two-headed monster bulldozed through the NBA in 2005. Shaq was his dominant self, while Dwade became one of the elite two-way players in the game. On defense, he had a sixth sense for steals.
People don't remember how good Dwade was
shots like a center. While on offense, he was a one-man fast break. No one could stay in front of him. So much so that Shaq nicknamed him the Flash. And the only thing that could slow him down was an injury. Up 3-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals against the defending champions, Wade missed Game 6 due to a strained rib muscle. Detroit won, seized the momentum, and won Game 7 to make it to the finals.
Took them to 7 games, gang. Like, I don't think people remember, bro. D-Wade early on was on some other stuff, and that was the ECF. That wasn't the second round, first, bro. That was the ECF, bro.
Had it not been for the injury, the Heat likely play for a championship. But you can't get caught up
if you don't get injured, we definitely make it to the championship, the finals.
It's just the nature of the sport.
It's just facts.
This had to happen. It was the spark. Wade put the league on notice in 2006, leaping up to 27 points a night and leading the Heat to 52 wins as the second seed in their conference. They'd go on to beat his hometown Bulls in 6 in round 1, torch the Nets in 5, and in an Eastern Conference Finals rematch against the 64-win Pistons, the Flash took care of unfinished business. He averaged 26 points on 62% shooting with 5 boards, 5 dimes, and elite defensive play to miraculously make it to the NBA Finals. Bad news, they're facing Dirk Nowitzki right smack in the middle of his prime.
I think that was... No, that wasn't MVP Dirk. MVP Dirk was the next year, and they lost in the first round.
It was a reality.
That was when they was the 1 seed.
A 2-0 series deficit right off the rip. It seemed like it was all too much.
And now, mind you, now I'm gonna be real. I know I said the stuff on Marquette, but at this time, bro, I was super young, bro. Only reason I even knew what this was because I just grew up in a family that loves sports. But I always watch ESPN every morning, Sports Center. So I'm seeing this joint. I'm seeing the highlights. But if I wasn't a big fan of the Heat, D-Wade, by then, bro, this series is genuine. Would change everything. No cap.
Soon for D-Wade.
Like, everything.
And with Shaq getting double teamed to oblivion, the Heat looked dead in the water. They needed a spark, a miracle, a savior.
Welcome to beautiful Miami, Florida, where tonight this city will host its first ever NBA Finals game. But their beloved Heat, who's in a desperate situation.
Everything is just so different.
The Dallas Mavericks 2-0. Wade, it's good. 1-point game. Over to the basket. It's lob, knocked away. And the Miami Heat right back in the NBA Finals. Walker to O'Neal. The NBA Finals are tied at 2 games apiece. Wade pulls up. Bang! Dwyane Wade again. Wade looking, pulls up, banks it in, tie game, and Miami
bro was cool. Now, one thing I will say, a lot of people talk about with D-Wade back then was the free throws. I'm sorry to tell y'all, bro, this ain't foul bait. I ain't gonna lie now, D-Wade, once he started losing athleticism, all this foul bait Hey, nah, I ain't gonna lie. D-Wade definitely probably like he one of the godfathers, one of the originals to that crazy foul baiting. Once he started losing that athleticism, but at this point, he was just so athletic. You could not stay in front of him. You did a double team. He probably wanted. I would argue he the best player ever at splitting the double. Like it's just what it was. Pick and roll. You couldn't do nothing with him. And it's not like he had a crazy jump shot. He didn't. Like in the clutch, he was knocking it down, but he didn't really depend on nothing but his ability to get to the rim. And he was just ridiculous at finishing around the rim, whether it was layups, dunks. Bro, the thing that I really liked about D-Wade was how stupid he was with the layups. Like he would make it just felt like if he was anywhere around the rim, he was making it. He was just making it, bro. And you just couldn't stop him from getting to the rim. He was just so athletic. Now, I won't lie. Looking back, bro, I thought the thing that made me like D-Wade the most was the fact that he was so small. Now, like I said, I watched a different video a couple years back, and it finally got revealed to me. This brother has a 7-foot wingspan. So I'm here thinking that bro, like 6'3", you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he may even have like a 7'2" wingspan at 6'3" or 6'4", which is even stupider. But I'm over here thinking this is realistic goals. I don't know why I'm watching this athletic freak of nature with a 7'2" wingspan expecting this to be realistic, but that's really why I liked him, because he was so small and he was just unguardable. He was unguardable. So I used to try to play with like bro at everything. But looking back, I was losing. I was losing with hell, man. Stupid delusional. I should have looked at, like, I ain't gonna lie, Kobe was low-key a way more realistic person, because he was not nearly as athletic. But his shot, his skill. Bro, I ain't even say nothing this whole part.
Congratulations, 2006.
Nah, D-Wade was hooping.
Dwyane Wade.
I don't know if that's the best final series of all time anymore. That was the best final series I had seen in a long time.
D-Wade put
until we kind of got to the mid-2010s.
7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals,
when you start getting
1 block
pretty much
per
a crazy
game
performance every
to
single
win
year.
the championship and the finals MVP.
But he was stupid in that series.
And delivered by Shaq. I mean, look at the numbers this dude put up after going in game to win the championship and the finals MVP. And delivered by Shaq.
Oh,
I mean, look at the numbers this dude put up after going down 2-0.
Is he trying to say he got
It's one of the great finals carry jobs ever.
Nah, he was
For the first time in his career, Wade wasn't overshadowed. He was the man, and being the 5th pick in the draft just 3 years ago now seems like the steal of the decade. This kid has the potential to become one of the greats.
Low key, 2K, if y'all really want to make a good my career story, because this, hey, y'all tried to get Spike Lee this year, that shit was trash. That shit was trash. Y'all want to get a good my career story. You know what I'm saying? You out there hooping, you get a career-ending type, like, level injury. It's a rookie. You got to wait. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to go to the Gatorade facility, do all these things every single day. You know what I'm saying? You got to train to get back. You get back. You hooping. You make it to the playoffs. You getting deep in the playoffs. You get another career-ending injury. Hey, man, I'm cooking, though. You know what I'm saying? Let me just
you know what they say, the quicker you rise, the harder you fall.
That was Loki Cooks, though. 06 was crazy, but that's not his best season, though. Probably his craziest feat, though.
The NBA landscape is an unforgiving beast. Think of it as a carousel. One day you're the greatest player in the world, riding high in the spotlight, praised as the next Michael Jordan. Then things don't go your way, and suddenly the ride spins out of control and throws you off, as it finds any excuse to put someone else in your place. Someone new, someone fresh. D-Wade experienced it firsthand. Chasing a repeat in 2007, Wade dislocated his left shoulder. Bro. Miami lost in round 1. He undergoes surgery on both his shoulder and his left knee as the spotlight snaps to another young superstar fresh off a finals appearance.
I remember when LeBron was in the finals, they thought he was going to do the same thing.
With a 15-60.
Hey, by the way, people be giving LeBron excuses for that finals. Hey, shout out Bron. Like, again, that's my second favorite player. Hey, them first two finals performances from Bron are genuinely some of the worst you will see from a star. Like, genuinely. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that Cavs team, you can argue it's not, you can say what you want about how bad or good it is. But Bron was genuinely, like, especially when you look at what the Spurs was doing, all the Spurs was doing just letting him shoot, and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. It's just what it was, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
They traded Shaq, and with nagging pain to that left knee that's been bothering him since college, Wade was shut down for the second half of the season. And now, just like that, the league had moved on, leaving him in the shadows. So how about a reintroduction on the world's biggest stage? Prior to his rookie season, Dwyane Wade was on that 2004 Olympic roster that suffered one of the greatest meltdowns in USA basketball history. Fast forward to Beijing in 2008, and Wade had redemption on his mind, both for his country and himself. As part of the USA's Redeem team with the likes of Kobe, LeBron, Carmelo, and Bosh, it was Wade who led the team in scoring to capture the gold medal.
And by the way, bro, in real time, it's not fake. It's not some made up old head, bro. In real time, everybody knew D-Wade was the best player on that team that year. Everybody knew. In terms of performance. And by the way, going into that, is 09, 08, 09 coming out of this? Because that's the 08 Olympics. No, he comes out of this playing the way he did in the Olympics and then goes into that next season. And it's like that's one of the craziest. Like, we got some crazy MVP races right now, like the past couple years. But that D-Wade, Kobe, LeBron MVP race, that shit was crazy.
Achievement that Dwyane Wade called the most important moment of his career. It was his reintroduction to the world. And above all, he was finally healthy. Back in the NBA, the Flash was on that type of timing once again. The speed, the pop, the explosive athleticism, it was all back. He won the scoring title, averaging 30 points per game, alongside 5 boards, 7 dimes, 2 steals, and a block in one of the all-time seasons we've seen from a guard.
This is his peak.
Oh, and he did this too.
This play was crazy.
Wade puts it up for the win.
This play was crazy. He got so many MVP level plays that he could have if his team just had a better record, he would have won it. His team was just terrible. Go look at that roster outside D-Wade. That's trash, terrible. That's why I be saying when people do that LeBron stuff, that's just how that era was. Outside the Spurs and the Lakers, and then when the Celtics got the big three, bro, role players in the 2000s were just not a lot of teams were really just focused on athleticism and defense. They didn't really care about if you could shoot. They had their star. Every single team, for the most part, had a star level player, and they just let their star do kind of whatever, and the role players were just kind of there to stick defense for the most part. That's just kind of how that era was. But, so, nobody really had the greatest spacing unless it was the Spurs or the Lakers, because they was playing triangle, which was kind of just optimizing spacing at all times. But for the most part, bro, I think if he would have actually had just a better team around him, you know what I'm saying, they could have. I'm just saying, though.
09 D-Wade had me floating. Was he MVP worthy? No. But he did finish.
Nah, you're chatting. Nah. It was MVP worthy. In my opinion, it was either D-Wade, LeBron. Kobe was in the combo because Kobe just always got treated like this. I would keep it being, bro. The combos around Kobe, RIP, bro. And I ain't gonna lie, as a D-Wade, Bron, like I said, those are my two favorite players. That rivalry that, they had against Kobe, bro, that joke was real. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even realize how much Kobe really had impacted me as an NBA fan until he died, bro. I was actually genuinely sad when he died. And, bro, I used to have years of just straight hate because that was the real rivalry. But I ain't gonna lie, this was literally between D-Wade and LeBron. I'm sorry. It was, bro. But shout out to Kobe. But, yeah, shout out to Kobe.
Third in voting behind LeBron and Kobe, and third in Defensive Player of the Year voting as well. Wade was at his peak, reestablished as one of the top players in the world.
You don't talk about that LeBron year,
however, ended in the first round.
For Defensive Player of the Year. I think that year he has a better case than 2013. Oh, no, I'm going to be Chad.
Another championship.
Because Marcus saw not as good as 09
Dwayne was virtually alone. The team was a mix of young and old role players.
But
with
both
no
were
sense of identity.
in my opinion, those are the 2 years you argue at his
surprisingly,
peak.
we'd see the
Not
same
any of these other
roster
years they
in
be trying to say.
2010.
09 or 13.
Coming off a career-defining season, Wade had to suffer another first-round exit with no help around him. Heat fans found it baffling how management wouldn't get.
Go look at what D-Wade did to the Celtics in that series, and then go look at what the other, you know what I'm saying, best players in the world did against the Celtics that year.
Their superstar.
By the way, Celtics
any
was the best
help.
defense in the league that year.
But little did they know that Pat Riley had something cooking behind the scenes. The reinforcements were on their way.
Can you feel it? South Florida is electric, knowing the Miami Heat has now secured 3 of the NBA's biggest names to play right here next season.
Tonight, the trio is complete. LeBron James joining Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh to play for the Heat.
The days of having no help in Miami were over. The reigning back-to-back MVP LeBron James and multi-time All-Star
Hey,
Chris
in real time, shout out to Dwade. That was my favorite player, but like I said, LeBron my second favorite player all time. Bro, that entire summer was so wild. Like I remember all the hate that LeBron got, but it was so much anticipation for that decision, bro. That genuinely was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If there's people that's not born, hey, bro. If you born 2010 and after, I ain't gonna lie. That's some old. Hey, let me just watch this.
Bosh were joining Wade in the 305, creating the most polarizing big three the sport has ever seen. And it was showtime. Lobs, slams, posters, speed, flash, you name it. They were a transition nightmare. They won 58 games and thrashed the East to get to the finals, where Wade would meet the same man whom he stole the title from 6 years ago. The encore, however, fell short. Miami collapsed, losing to Dallas in 6 in one of the all-time finals shockers. Wade played to his usual standard, but the newly acquired king did not. There was a lack of focus and hesitancy in his game. It wasn't caused by bad blood, but rather an underlying tension between Dwyane and LeBron.
That's cap. I ain't gonna lie. This one is cap. LeBron and D Wade from get-go, chemistry. The chemistry was ridiculous. Their chemistry on the court on offense and defense was ridiculous. The only issue was like the connective, I guess, how everything around the team connected outside of them. Because, again, at this point, LeBron wasn't the greatest shooter, and D-Wade was never really a shooter. But they were able to play very well with each other. But that first Heat team that they had, it just didn't have a lot of spacing. But the big issue came with LeBron in the finals. You can't, there was no consistent issue with LeBron until the finals. That's why it was such a head-scratching moment when he was that bad in the finals. If anything, Chris Bosh was the person that was kind of the question mark that whole season in terms of his consistency, because he went from being the star player to being damn near a role player throughout the year in the playoffs. And then in the finals, he outplayed LeBron. So I don't agree with this one. I don't agree with this one. And I low-key did not like Chris Bosh at all that year, bro. But I don't agree with this one.
Whose team it was during that 2011 run. It was a your turn, my turn, evenly sharing the load.
It was a duo.
Dynamic.
It was a real duo. Their chemistry was stupid.
So Wade took it upon himself.
We're not changing that history. Their duo was just genuinely stupid.
Back, as he told LeBron, "You're the best player in the world. We'll follow your lead." And most
that worked.
notably, I don't want another scoring title. I'm trying to win. How many other players of Wade's caliber would willingly take a step back and sacrifice everything to let the better player lead them to victory? Wade put his pride to the side. He had no ego. It was all about winning. And over the next 2 seasons, they did a whole lot of it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Game 1 of the 2012 NBA Finals. What a matchup. The 2 best teams led by arguably the 2 best players on the planet.
Chalmers now drives. Nice feed to Wade. Wade finds Bosh. Right. Wade to drive. Gets in the lane. The runner is good. And a foul. Chalmers sets. Puts it up. That won't go. James rifle pass to Wade. Oh, what a...
Hey, by the way, though, people talk about that 2011 finals, but this, I ain't gonna lie, 2012, Brown wasn't that crazy either, or D-Wade. I ain't gonna lie. This series was a lot. If anything, KD and Russ, and I don't even like Russ. I don't like Russ at all. I ain't gonna lie. That's all bias. But I gotta put my bias aside. They both low-key outplayed Bron and D-Wade in this series. The thing about this series is the big difference between the year prior. Like I was saying earlier, they just got more spacing. And then the role players, they were just a lot more used to playing next to those two guys. And everything was working a lot better. But I don't think this taking a seat back was a big deal in this one. I think the Celtics, the series prior, now that's the one we should have talked about. Because that was a clear indicator of Dwade taking a step back and LeBron taking complete initiative. Just taking complete leadership, complete control. And it worked. Now, I do think another series the series that you would want to say this for is 2013 versus Spurs. But that Heat generation is actually a weird one because 2012 was the best duo for LeBron and D-Wade, but LeBron was so much better in 2013, but D-Wade had got worse. After 2012, that's when D-Wade was just out of his prime because all the injuries that caught him. And he really liked doing these little mixes, though. I ain't gonna lie, he liked that.
The American Airlines Arena is hot, and it's where the 2013 NBA Finals begins. Oh, gets in and throws it down. 4 to shoot. Parker, spread the deep. Oh, what a block from James. Tough assignment. Wade sidesteps. Oh, James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His 3-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. James drives, kicks out Valier for 3. Bang! What a finish. It's back-to-back titles for the Heat. The 2013 NBA Championship resides once again in Miami.
In 2012, the Heat manhandle a thunderous OKC squad before running it back in 2013 against Duncan and the Spurs to secure back-to-back championships. All those sacrifices were absolutely worth it. D-Wade is a 3-time champ, with a legacy that is all but cemented. But hold on, a three-peat's on the horizon. In 2014, Miami was back in the NBA Finals, facing the Spurs once again with history on their mind.
I ain't gonna lie, say what you want about 2011. Say what you want. I ain't gonna lie, nah, I ain't gonna cap. 2014, it blew me because LeBron. It didn't really blow me because of D-Wade, because at this point, like I said, in 2013, I kind of already understood that D-Wade was out his prime. But 2014, the injuries was catching up to him even more. What LeBron was on in this series. Now, I know a lot of LeBron. Now, I love LeBron. That's my second favorite player. But, hey, a lot of them LeBron sexuals, they don't like to really be for real. LeBron was wilding in this series. I ain't going to lie. He was genuinely wilding. But I ain't gonna lie, the stats ended up looking pretty good in hindsight. But watching it in real time, I think a lot of people should just go back and watch that series. Hey, bro, the Spurs was blitzing us, man. They were blitzing us. I don't think it was a big talent gap still to this day. I just think this was a Spo getting out coached. The players outplaying us. And they just played real team basketball. You know what I'm saying? I think we had to... I don't know about the two. Probably definitely still had the best player on the floor. But in that finals, LeBron was not the best player on the floor. It's just what it was. So, I don't know. Even if LeBron was the best player on the floor, I don't know how much it would have mattered. It probably would have been a closer series. But like I said, they blitzed. They blitzed us. Like, I was going to say this was the toughest loss. But honestly, I didn't even feel anything from this loss because the way we lost. Like, it's like they didn't care, honestly. So... yeah, and after this series, the writing was on the wall that LeBron was leaving. I'm not even going to lie. And I still to this day think this is one of his worst decisions he ever made. Because this was the most success he ever had with a team. And this is the shortest, by the way, the Heat are the shortest stint he ever had with a team. It's the most success he ever had with a team. Crazy. But shout out to Bron.
But Wade was bad. Years of injuries and surgeries had finally caught up to him. There was no spring in his step. That legendary speed burst was gone. He was a shell of himself. The result? Miami got smoked in 5 as
by this time he was really depending heavily on foul baits
in South Beach. That same offseason, LeBron made his way back home to Cleveland, leaving a crippled Wade to carry the burden in Miami. And even though he didn't have to, Dwyane took an $11 million pay cut to help the Heat rebuild a contender. But it never materialized. Over the next 2 years, Miami's empire collapsed. Wade couldn't carry a team like he once did, and the Heat knew it. Come the 2016 offseason, D-Wade's contract was up, and it was time to re-sign, hoping to finally get compensated.
He didn't even talk about 2016 D-Wade. I thought, 2016 Heat was low-key underrated. Especially D-Wade. He was actually solid that year, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
After years of pay cuts
crazy.
and being severely underpaid. But
no, been out his
Pat
prime for a couple
Riley
now,
lowballed him as they prioritized other players over the face of their franchise.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Them two getting that much money. Wait, Tyler Johnson didn't sign with us, though, did he? Did he? I thought he left to the Nets. I could just be tweaking. But, yeah, Hassan Whiteside, bro. Hey, we got a similar situation on our team right now that people gas on the Heat fan base, but I'm not going to go too deep in detail on it. But, yeah, we got one of those on our team right now that people be gassing. But, hey, I'm going to be real, bro. This was the first big mistake the Heat did with D-Wade, in my opinion.
This is the same guy who took the Heat from nothing to something to everything, sacrificing money, health, and his body over and over again to win championships for a franchise that just spat in his face. In fact, not once throughout his entire career was D-Wade the highest paid player.
Whoa. Okay, the LeBron years, that's not that crazy. He was third. Wait, Bosh was making the most money on the Big Three Heat? What the hell? Even in these days, D-Wade wasn't making the most? Oh, nah. Ain't gonna lie. 09 D-Wade not making the most on the Heat is diabolical. I ain't even notice. Damn, Shaq was making bread. He was making 30 in 05? Shaq was making bread, bro. What the hell? 30 in 05? 30 a lot of money now still. The hell? That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That was MVP. That was MVP caliber season, Shaq too. Damn, I'm not gonna lie though. I ain't know he wasn't even number one in these days. That's crazy.
On the Miami
I ain't know Bosh was number one though. Bosh number one is crazy.
Roster. Did
Bosh
you hear him
number one
complain?
is nuts.
No, he put his head down and went to work. Wade deserved every single penny, but
nah, the fact that they didn't want to, bro. Nah, I'm not. Now the second mistake was the fact that they did not let him get ownership to stay within the organization. They gave it to Alonzo Mourning. They be letting Tim Hardaway do what he wants sometimes. Pat Riley. D-Wade should, outside of Pat Riley, D-Wade, you could even argue he has a bigger impact on the organization than Pat Riley. But it's those two. It's those two for sure. Because without Pat Riley, I don't even know if we even get D-Wade. I'll be real. We definitely don't get Shaq. We definitely don't get Spo. So I'm not gonna hate on Pat Riley. I know a lot of people like hating on Pat Riley for what he's done recently. But even if you want to talk about what he's done recently, I think it's a whole nother combo. But, bro, D-Wade, Pat Riley, those are the two guys. Those both should have ownership in the Heat, for sure. The fact that D-Wade had to go to the Utah Jazz, filthy. And now that I know that they were doing him like this with the bread, filthy, bro, filthy.
Management didn't think so.
That's filthy.
They overlooked him. Just days later, Dwyane left the only team he's ever known to sign with his hometown Chicago Bulls. He was gone. In his twilight years, D-Wade lived out his childhood dream of playing for the Bulls. A year later, he was off to Cleveland to team up with
That
LeBron.
Cleveland shit was so wild. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit need to be deleted from history. I'll be so real.
One last time before being shipped back to Miami to end his career. In 2019, Dwyane announced that he'd be retiring.
Bro, by then, bro, ESPN had fell off crazy.
At the end of the season, setting the stage for a well-deserved farewell tour. And for just a moment in time, D-Wade could soak in the spotlight. He wasn't overshadowed by an injury, a teammate, or a contract dispute. This was all about him, receiving the love and recognition he had waited for his entire career.
And the crazy thing is, he came back and gave us even more moments. Shout out D-Wade, bro. But yeah, that's an interesting video. I think it was some interesting points within it. That was a little, But he did show me one big one. That money one. I ain't know he had never been the number one paid person.
think about this. He literally carried the Heat franchise. Like, the only reason we got LeBron, D-Wade. The only reason we got a lot of players that want to come play to the Heat to this day is because of D-Wade. So, the fact that, hey, bro, they still doing him dirty like this is kind of crazy. But even if you think about the recent win streak that they had, that was because of D-Wade. Like, even an 83-point game from Bam, like, that was because of D-Wade. Like, D-Wade had just talked crazy about how the Heat was not, they just a play-in team. There's not nobody really that's a star in the city right now. Bro, I'm going to be real. D-Wade, even still to this day, is impacting and influencing the team without being a part of the association. So, hey, shout out to D-Wade, bro. Like I said, one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. As simple as that. I don't really care what you want to say. Some of the craziest seasons I have ever seen. For sure. I'm never going to let him get disrespected. But yeah, that's the video. If y'all do want more of these, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. All that good stuff out the way, man. Without further ado, man, it's your boy Fitz. I'm out of here.
Tell him to bring me my money. Yeah!